Imagine this: millions of dollars, thousands of jobs, and the entire reputation of a global company hanging by a thread, and in the middle of it all, a CEO, sweating, panicking, desperate for answers. What happened next shocked an entire corporation, changed lives forever, and reminded everyone that greatness can come from the most unexpected places. Stick with this story, because by the end, you'll be inspired in a way you won't forget. And if you love stories like this, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel, because we bring you real stories with powerful lessons every week. The story begins in a towering skyscraper, where Titan Tech, one of the world's leading software companies, was preparing for its most important launch ever. The CEO, Richard Harlan, a man who had built his empire with iron discipline and sleepless nights, was ready to unveil a system that promised to change industries forever. A real-time, AI-powered platform that investors had poured billions into. The press was already waiting in the conference hall. Shareholders were online, watching the live feed. Employees were on edge, their futures tied to the success of this launch. But then it happened. As the CEO rehearsed one last time with his team, the screens in front of him flickered. Lines of code scrolled uncontrollably. The system, the one product that was meant to define the future of the company, crashed. Not just a glitch. A complete, devastating crash. Servers went offline. Backup systems failed to load. The room froze. Developers frantically typed commands, sweat dripping down their faces. Managers barked orders. But nothing worked. The countdown clock to the live launch ticked closer. 30 minutes. 25. 20. Richard, the usually calm and confident leader, felt his chest tighten. Investors were already calling. Journalists were whispering. The weight of thousands of employees and billions of dollars rested on his shoulders, and for the first time in years, he felt powerless. And that's when fate stepped in. The janitor, Mr. Alvarez, had been quietly mopping the floor outside the glass-walled conference room. A humble man, he had worked in the company for over 15 years. Most executives barely noticed him. But that day, walking by with his cart, he noticed his 10-year-old son, Mateo, tugging at his sleeve. Mateo had come to visit his dad after school, carrying his little backpack and a curious sparkle in his eyes. He loved computers. He spent hours tinkering with old laptops his dad salvaged from the company's recycling bins. What he lacked in resources, he made up for in passion. As Mateo peeked through the glass, he saw the chaos. The flashing screens. The panic. The shouting. And before Mr. Alvarez could stop him, the boy quietly slipped into the room. At first, nobody noticed. Too much noise. Too much fear. But then, a voice, soft but clear, cut through the storm. "Excuse me. I think I can help." Every head turned. The CEO blinked, almost angry. "What? Who let this kid in here?" he snapped. Security moved closer, but Mateo stood firm, gripping the straps of his backpack. "I know what's happening," he said, his voice trembling but determined. "It's not the system that's broken. It's the firewall loop. I've seen this before, when I was fixing an old computer at home." The room went silent. Some executives scoffed. Others shook their heads. But Richard, desperate and out of options, felt something in the boy's confidence. "Fine," he said, his voice heavy with doubt. "Show us." With shaking hands, Mateo climbed onto a chair and placed his backpack on the table. From it, he pulled out a small USB drive. The developers watched, half curious, half skeptical. He asked for access to a terminal. A senior engineer reluctantly slid the laptop toward him. And then, it happened. The boy's fingers flew across the keyboard. Fast, precise, almost instinctive. He wasn't intimidated by the complex system or the walls of code. In less than 5 minutes, he identified the issue, a recursive loop in the firewall protocol that caused the servers to lock themselves out. A problem so rare and buried so deep that the engineers, blinded by stress and pressure, had overlooked it. With a few lines of code, Mateo rewrote the script. The screens blinked, paused, and then, like a heartbeat restarting, everything came back online. The system was restored, fully functional. The launch was saved. The room erupted in disbelief. Developers gasped. Managers clapped. Even the security guards grinned. And Richard, the CEO who had faced countless boardrooms and hostile investors, felt tears sting his eyes. He walked over, bent down, and placed his hand on the boy's shoulder. "You just saved this company," he whispered. News of what happened spread like wildfire. Journalists reported not just the success of the launch, but the unbelievable story of the janitor's son who had saved the day. Shareholders, instead of doubting Titan Tech, praised its culture for recognizing unexpected talent, even if by accident. But the most powerful moment came afterward. Richard invited Mr. Alvarez and Mateo to his office. The janitor, embarrassed, kept apologizing for his son's boldness. But Richard silenced him. He looked at Mateo with admiration and asked, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" Mateo hesitated, then said softly, "A computer scientist. But we don't have money for college." The CEO paused. Then he smiled. "Not anymore. From this day forward, your education is on us. Consider it an investment in the future, yours and ours." Tears welled in Mr. Alvarez's eyes. He had spent years sweeping hallways, unseen, unappreciated. But in that moment, his son's light shone brighter than the tallest skyscraper. And Mateo? He became a symbol. Not just for Titan Tech, but for millions who heard his story. A reminder that genius doesn't always wear a suit. That opportunity can come from anywhere. And that sometimes, the smallest voices carry the greatest solutions. So the next time you feel overlooked, remember Mateo. Remember the janitor's son who walked into a boardroom and shocked the world. And if this story moved you, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Because somewhere out there, maybe even inside you, is the next story that will inspire the world.